Hey y'all, welcome back to our Boston Red Sox franchise here on OOTP 21. I wanted to thank everyone for the support, all the comments, the likes, just watching the video. It truly does mean a lot to me. It's a weird time, definitely out there. So, as I said in a previous episode, playing this game and even doing these videos has kind of brought me a sense of normalcy because I basically don't have a job right now. Because if you're somehow just watching this episode and you missed the previous one, I work for a minor league baseball team and there's not a season right now, so clearly there's not really much for me to do. So I really don't have a job. So doing these videos, interacting with all of you guys, it's provided me with a sense of normalcy, which I wouldn't have otherwise had. So I'm glad I came back to YouTube this year to do this. I try to look at the positives for everything, and unfortunately, if you look at it, what's going on in the world right now isn't good, but it has allowed me to come back and do something that I really enjoyed doing back in the day, and I'm happy to be back doing it now. I have contemplated bringing a new series to the channel, so maybe be on the lookout for that. It's something I'm not sure if I'm going to do. It would not be OOTP based, it would be something different. It would still be relating to sports, and it would kind of just be something laid back, something fun, just for all of us to kind of enjoy and watch and laugh about or whatever. But it's something I'm contemplating, so maybe stay on the lookout for that. I've also considered getting into live streaming. I don't know if I would do it here or if I would do it on Twitch, but it's something I've considered doing as well. It would not be with the Boston Red Sox. I would do something different. It would probably be OOTP to start out with, but I don't know, maybe I'd do different games too. I'm not sure. I really have not given it a ton of thought. I've contemplated it. Just I figure live streaming would be a kind of a fun way to interact with all of you guys. It'd be more real time, obviously, than leaving just a comment on a YouTube video. And just be a way for us to kind of kick back for a little bit and just kind of enjoy, just talk about sports or whatever else, and just have fun playing some games. So be on the lookout for that. It's stuff that I still have to think about, but we will see. Now, I'm starting here on Friday, April 30th, where I ended the last video. Commenter, forget what your name was. I probably should have had it pulled up, but you pointed out that I missed a no-hitter, and you were 100% correct. I did not even notice, but the last game that we did before I stopped the episode, John DePlanier no-hit the Minnesota Twins, if you can believe that. I completely missed it. So if we take a look at the line score, so he threw 121 pitches through 9 innings, 11 Ks, 2 walks, which was a little upsetting. So kind of came close to a perfect game, and it seems like we had an error or two, but still a no-hitter. That is really, really cool. I don't know if I've ever talked about a no-hitter or a perfect game when I've done an OTP series on YouTube. I'm sure I probably missed it. If I missed it last time, I probably have missed it over the years when I've been doing these YouTube series, but that's pretty cool. That's nice. And I wanted to just take a quick look at the team stats. So we are tied for first in runs scored, and we are tied for fourth in runs against in the American League. We are seventh in OPS, but fourth in batting WAR. We are fourth in starters ERA and fourth in bullpen ERA. So pitching was obviously a big issue last year, and it seems like we've addressed that so far. It's only been about a month and a week or two, but it does seem like we have kind of fixed the pitching woes that plagued us last year, and we are in first place. Granted, it's still very early, 19-13, 1.5 games up on the Rays and the Blue Jays, 4.5 up on the Orioles and the Yankees. Still a lot of time left, but we have put ourselves in a good position to kind of make a run this year. Looking at this team, there are definitely some things I've thought about improving, but I think that for the most part we've done pretty well so far. So if we take a look, I talked about this in the last episode, but I do want to just commend it again. The starting pitching has been very good. Colin McHugh was our ace while Chris Sale was rehabbing his injury, and he has done pretty well, pretty similar to last year, actually. And if he can just, I've said it a lot, if he can just do what he did last year, I would be fine. So hopefully he can continue to do that. We are basically out of April, so I'm going to knock the pitch counts out of here. I'm not too concerned. I will keep it on sale because He is just coming back from an injury. I want it to be just a little realistic. So hopefully he doesn't, we'll get that up. I think maybe we can go up to maybe 85 for his next start, and then we can go to 90 for a little bit, and then we'll take the kid gloves off. But he did make his return against the Tigers, as I talked about in the last episode, and he went 5 solid innings, which is pretty good. But McHugh's doing well. Deplanier had the no-hitter. He seems to be doing well after that, at least. Had a couple of rough starts in there, but now he's down to a 3.35 ERA and a 2.34 FIP, which is really, really neat to see. A 151 ERA plus. He's striking out 31.1% of the batters that he faces, which is cool. I'm excited to see. I talked about it when we acquired this guy. I could see the potential, and I really thought that he could be a good asset for us, and so far he has been that. And Devin Smeltzer's been good too. A 1.62 ERA. The FIP of 4.24 indicates that he'll probably experience some regression as the season goes on, but still, compared to some of the starting pitchers that we had to go through last year, a 4.24 FIP, I'm pretty happy with that. He can kind of stick around there. Chris Sale just came back. Lewis Thorpe has had kind of a rough start to the season. He's pitched 28 and 2/3 innings. He started 6 games, a 6.91 ERA. So he has not done very well so far. I think I know what I'm going to do if he can't turn it around. Brian Mata is probably the guy that I would call up if I decide to send down Thorpe, and if Thorpe cannot kind of fix his issues while he's up here in the big leagues. He's 21 years old. He's actually going to turn 22 in 3 days, which is kind of neat. A top 100 prospect according to OSA. He is number 75 this year in AAA. He has not done the best. It seems like he's walking more guys than I would like him to. But other than that, I think that if Thorpe cannot get a little better as time goes on, Mata is probably the guy that we're going to look at. I wanted him to get a little more experience in AAA, which is why I started him there this season. So hopefully he can kind of turn things around. That way he can maybe be an arm we can slot in and get Thorpe out of there if we need to. Hopefully we don't need to do that, and Thorpe turns things around and he becomes a reliable starter for us. But we never know. We'll never know. We just have to wait and see. But take a look here. It's April 30th. I am probably going to simulate up until around the draft, which I believe is the 4th. So we'll get through all of May here and then into June. I think the draft is the 4th, so we'll take a look at the rookie draft. The Tigers have the first overall pick in the 2021 draft, and it is June 4th, 2021. 40 rounds. The Red Sox have the 27th pick as of right now. Take a look at the draft pool. If we go to all players, and you can see it's not super great right now. I have not scouted a lot of these players yet, but maybe once we scout some of these players, the potentials will go up. But right now, it does not seem like the strongest draft class ever. But, it's fine. We'll see. I trust my scout. I trust the guys. And I still think that despite what these potentials may say, we should be able to get some good players out of this draft class. But having said that, I'm going to simulate up until, as I said, June 4th, which actually works out well because that's the start of his new series. So we'll get through all of May. We'll take a look at the schedule. We have this 3-game set against the Rays. We have an interleague set, but it is at home, which is nice. Play the Orioles and the Blue Jays and the Astros. We have to go on the road for an interleague series at Chicago, but it won't be as big of an issue this year doing that. Last year, we had JD Martinez, who could not play the field, so we really could not have him in the lineup. And this year it's a little different. We have Marcell Ozuna, who can play in the field, so maybe we put him in there for one of these games to take one of the outfielders out. I'm not sure. I haven't really thought about it yet. We'll see. And then we come back home. We have 4 games against the Rangers, 3 against the White Sox. And then we go back on the road, 3 against the Angels, and 3 against the Rangers. And that'll take us to the draft. So I'll be back for the 2021 draft. All right, it is June 4th, 2021. The first-year player draft is today. Been staring at my screen for a little bit because I am not happy. You can see the team has fallen apart. We are now 28 and 35, 7.5 games out of the division and 5.5 games out of a wild card spot. So it's not over, but this team is just, I don't quite know what happened. I mean, I do, but you can see we went from 1st to 5th in runs scored. We went from tied for 4th to 10th in runs against. The starters ERA and bullpen ERA and FIP is way higher than I would like it to be. The offensive has kind of been hovering around the 6-7 mark, sometimes 8th for OPS. Chris Sale had to go on the IL. He had a sore elbow. He wasn't doing very well anyway in his return. A 6.19 ERA in 7 games started, 34 strikeouts to 14 walks. Not very good. We had to put Heath Hembry on the IL. The bullpen itself has not been very good. Just looking base at ERA, and we'll even go deeper. I mean, Hendricks has a 4.96 ERA, but his FIP is 2.76. Yates has a 5.09 ERA, a 3.54 FIP. Hader's the only one where his FIP is not really that much lower than his ERA. In fact, now it's similar at 4.19 for both of them. Brewer has been consistent, but Brazier, Chafin, and we had to call up Shawarin to fill in for Hembry, and he has not done very well. It's upsetting. McHugh has kind of come back down to earth a little bit now at a 4.42 ERA, although it seems like he's been doing better recently. It seems like he got shellacked against Houston, at Houston, and I guess that really brought his ERA up, but it doesn't seem like he was doing very well before that. Deplanier is still doing pretty solid, a 3.48 ERA and a 2.95 FIP, so he's been pretty consistent this year for the most part. Smeltzer, as I said, he has come back down to earth. His FIP is now up to 4.53, the ERA at 4.06, but his stuff grade did improve from 45 to 50, which is a positive. We had to call up Andrew Politti to fill in for Chris Sale, and you might wonder, well, Ryan, why did you not call up Brian Mata? Well, Brian Mata ruptured his UCL, so he's going to be out for a year, and so we will not get to see Brian Mata make his Major League debut this season. Which is unfortunate. He really turned it around, too. He finally got his ERA and his FIP down to respectable numbers. He was striking out a lot of guys. He wasn't walking as many. He finally got his ERA plus up to above average, and then he just ruptured his UCL, so we couldn't. And this is why I signed all those pitchers and all those position players, by the way, for depth, just because there's so many injuries. Lewis Thorpe has not gotten it back together. In fact, he not only didn't get together, he got suspended for 6 games, which is wonderful. So he's not doing too well, and I don't really have anybody that I can put in the rotation over Lewis Thorpe right now. I can't put Mata in there. I don't really feel comfortable putting any of these guys in. Vladimir Gutierrez did not do very well in his first stint. I don't want to put him back in there right now. Tanner Houck is not a guy that I'm going to put in there. I don't really have anybody that I can throw in there right now to replace Thorpe. And the offense, there's some question marks about that. Not a ton, granted, but Ozuna, after his very hot start, has come crashing down, which is why I made this contract the way that I did, because after this year, I'm going to be able to get out of it real easily in case he doesn't turn it around. Remember, he had 10 home runs, I think, before April was even over, and now he's only hit 5 since then, which is not great. 755 OPS, I think it was over 900 the last time we checked. It might have been close to 1,000. So we'll just go to lineups, and I don't know why it has pitching stats. We'll go to batting stats and sort by OPS. Devers has had another outstanding year, and I'd be interested to know if he would be – so he wouldn't be against an extension. He's 24 years old. He's going to turn 25 later this year. A contract like this, I really would not be against. I think that that's a very fair contract for a guy like Devers. An 871 OPS last year, 916 in 2019. He's over 1,000 this year. He's probably an MVP candidate. He's leading our team basically in almost every statistical category. And I would not mind giving him an extension now because I feel like $23.5 million for a player of his caliber is a pretty solid deal. Now, it's a long-term deal. You see 10 years, but that still only takes him to his age 34 season. He does have an opt-out after that 2028 season, but I'm not against doing something like this. I mean, I feel like this is an okay deal. I mean, normally we can maybe try to get him to take less each year, but still for a star player in a big market, $22 million, even 23, that's not very bad. It's an average annual value of $20 million a year and some change, and I'm not really against it. As I said, as a big market team, we have a lot of money to spend more often than not, So I'm going to see if he would be interested in signing this, because I definitely am interested in. He's 24 years old, and we'd lock him up for at least 7 years, if not more. So we're going to do that. I did not think he would want to do a contract extension at only 24, and he's only been in the majors for 3 years, but he did. So hopefully we can lock up one of our core players for a long time. He'll be in Boston, hopefully for his entire career. We'll wait and see. But let's go back to lineups and OPS. And Benintendi has done well since he came back from the IL, an 881 OPS. Freddie Galvis has done way better than I thought he would do at the plate. He's still our captain. Kirilloff has been pretty good. You know, you got to remember this is his second year in the majors. He's kind of been around that 800 to 900 OPS all season long. Right now he's at 821, but he's getting on base at a 368 clip, which I can't be too upset about. We've talked about Ozuna. Verdugo has not done as well as I thought he would. Of course, last year he had the 828 OPS, and now it is down to 749, which is not very good. Jeter Downs, as I said, I kind of expected him to be good defensively, and the 2.4 positive zone rating would indicate that he has been, but offensively he has not been very good. We're going to need to move him out of the leadoff spot soon. It's something I should have done already, but I really wanted to give him a chance to hit his way out of it. He just hasn't been able to. A 1.2 win player, so he's been, he's contributed positive value to the team, but it's just not enough. Vasquez, a 704 OPS, so he's come back down from last year, not very good. And then the addition of Adrianza has proven not to work, so I think we're going to trade him. And the reason we're going to trade him is because I think it's time to call up, where is he? Tristan Casas. He's done well all year. His OPS has been between 900 and 1,000, and sometimes higher than that. And down in AAA, he's had 228 plate appearances. He's a 2.4 win player. He struck out 59 times, walked 34. His WRC plus of 159. You just look all across the board. I think it's time to bring this guy up. Now, I know he lacks drive, which really pisses me off. It's not going to be great for our team chemistry now having three of those guys and Sale, Verdugo, and now we're going to add someone that's unmotivated. It's not going to be great. It's not what I want, but we need to do something different. What we're doing right now is not working. So before we get into the draft, I'm gonna shop Adrianza around. I did this a little while ago, and yeah, so there's some names here that I'm looking at. As I said, I try to keep these things kind of somewhat, sort of, maybe realistic. So there's a couple names here that I would love, but I don't think they're super realistic. Like if I go all the way down here to, where is he? Like I would love Carlos Martinez. He's a ground baller, and I think he could be a big upgrade over Lewis Thorpe, but I just don't feel like the Cardinals would trade Carlos Martinez. He's getting paid 17. I mean, maybe that's why they would want to trade him. He's making $17 million next year, and they don't want to pay him that, but I still don't think it would be realistic for them to trade a pitcher in their starting rotation for this first baseman who, granted, has done he's been good defensively, but offensively he has contributed absolutely nothing. He was actually a negative win player for a while, and I guess he still kind of is. So that signing did not work out, which is upsetting. So I don't really know who I'd want to trade him for. Cal Quantrill is interesting, but it seems like he hasn't really developed all that well. I'd like to kind of try to get someone that's major league ready that can help our major league team now. Preferably a pitcher, like a bullpen piece or a starting pitcher would be great. And I can't, this would be nice too, but I don't really think they would want to trade him. The Rays are already trying to get rid of Gosman. Yanni Chirinos is in AAA, which I don't quite understand. That's weird. He'd be a good long relief guy, perhaps. I don't know. I'm just trying to look for something that kind of makes sense. Sean Reed Foley's interesting because, I mean, you can look at the grades. It seems like he's going to be a pretty solid pitcher, but he has a partially torn UCL. He's not going to be back for 7 weeks, and then he has to go on the rehab assignment. He'll take credit he does not deserve. That scares me a little bit. I don't really want to have a toxic clubhouse. So just go through some of the names here. I don't know. I mean, like, some of these names are very interesting, but it's just I'm trying to determine what would make the most sense. I could get a guy like a Matt Tice to take Cassius' spot, and maybe he could be up later. I'm not sure. That might be what I do. I think that would kind of make sense because he's already in the minor leagues. This guy's kind of interesting. He has no movement. He's in AAA. He's really angry. He wants to play in the majors, so maybe we take a shot on this guy because he's a guy that wants to be in the majors. He's angry. Houston's not giving him the opportunity. He doesn't have a lot of movement on his pitches, but we could see if we could maybe get by. He's 26 years old. He was in the majors in 2019. They didn't give him a chance in 2020. It looks like maybe he was injured at some point if he only pitched 49 and 2/3 innings and started 10 games. This year, I guess he's fully healthy, and he's at a 2.52 ERA. The BABIP's a little low, but yeah, okay, we'll do that. I can kind of talk myself into maybe that's kind of sort of maybe realistic. Houston maybe needs a bench piece. They're not giving this guy his opportunity, and now maybe he wants out. So I can kind of talk myself into maybe that's some type of maybe realistic. So we will bring him to the Major League roster because I do think that he's ready. He expects to be in the bullpen, which I don't quite understand. I think that he can be. We're going to try him in the starting rotation. So we're going to move him up. We're going to send. I probably can't send Thorpe down, can I? Oh, I can. Cool. Okay, so we gave Thorpe a chance. It didn't work out, so we're going to go pitching-wise here, and we're going to throw him in the starting rotation, and he is exhausted, so he cannot start then. Where maybe he'd be able to... I don't know. We'll figure it out. But anyway, now we need to call up Tristan Cassius. And there we go. Lineups. All right. And Cassius... So Cassius is now going to be at first base. He's not really very good at all, and now he lacks drive. So if I go to team chemistry, yep, he is unmotivated, and you can see it's a good thing we do have Galvis. I'd hazard to guess what our record would be if we did not have a captain. I'd almost like to try to get another captain up here on the team somehow, but in any case, now we do have Cassius. I'm fine with him batting eighth. I think that that's fine. I don't want to have him bat. Oh, what did I just do? Oh, I put him at catcher. Whoops. That's not what I wanted. So Vasquez, and then maybe we can have Cassius batting seventh, and then Galvis batting eighth. That's probably fine. Cassius seventh. I know we have 4 lefties there now, which that scares me. So maybe against a left-handed pitcher, we kind of break it up a little bit. So maybe we can go like that. Against a right-handed pitcher, I really don't think it matters. I know the bullpen might be a factor, but whatever. We just have so many lefties. It is what it is. Like, if it sounds like I'm a little peeved, I am, because this is definitely not going as well as I thought it would. I thought this team would have what it takes, and they didn't. By the way, I don't know if I said this already. We fired our pitching coach, and I put out an offer to Bryce Bentz. So hopefully he accepts the offer. It's just I had enough. And I'm hoping that a new pitching coach can maybe help the team out a little bit. So we'll see. But it is time for the draft. And it says I've been recording for an hour and 2 minutes. So I think that we will save the draft perhaps for the next episode. And then we can kind of combine the draft and the All-Star break, and if I need to make any trades, I'll do that. I think now, to end the episode, it might be a good time just to go through and see if there's anybody that I should call up. I also want to check the schedule for the Dominican Summer League team. So they start tomorrow. Okay. So I'm going to need to set up the DSL teams, and I don't think the Rookie League starts until, they don't start until the 21st. And I think Lowell starts around then, too. They start the 18th. Okay, so we have a little bit of time for our low A team and our Rookie League team. We're going to need to get the roster set for our DSL team, soon, because they start tomorrow. But as I was trying to say, I think now would be a good time to kind of look through some of the minor league systems and see if there's anybody that would be worth sending up. So we're going to look at Portland. I'm not too concerned about Pawtucket right now. There's a lot of veterans there, a lot of major league veterans. So It does not seem like anybody here is quite ready to come up. Pitching-wise, is there anybody that's ready? Cutter Crawford, he's only pitched 24 innings and his 22 strikeouts and 2 walks. I'd like the walks to be a little lower. Is there anybody that's pitched a lot? So Alex Scherf, perhaps, is a guy that we might look to promote. He's done pretty well. Take a look at Salem, OPS. Some of these guys in limited time have done well. Jeremy Rivera has had 41 plate appearances, which is definitely not enough. Cole Brannon has done pretty well, it would seem, which is a little surprising given his grades, but he has a 910 OPS. The BABIP is very high, but he's been a 2.3 win player. He is good defensively, so maybe he's ready for AA. That's a guy we might look to get up there. 2.3 win player, 209 plate appearances. That's normally what I look for. 2 wins and then 200 plate appearances. Steven Scott has done well in limited time. The rest of these guys, it does not look like they've done all that well. Pitching-wise, have they done well? Thad Ward seems to be doing pretty well, 24 years old. It seems like he's probably about ready to get out of high A because he's been here now for 3 years. So it seems like he's probably about ready to get to AA. Brendan Nile, maybe if he gets his walks down, I think he'd be ready. Dakota Backus, I'd like to see maybe a few more innings, but 32 strikeouts to 4 walks, that's very good. I'm happy to see that. I mean, it looks like the pitching staff down here has done pretty well, actually, which is good to see. Good pitching staff in Salem. Who's our catcher? Parada, which someone actually told me the Red Sox actually traded for this guy, which is cool. But anyway, now we'll go to Greenville, the last minor league affiliate. Take a look at OPS. Jax Groshans. Seems like he's almost about ready. I'd say I'd like to see maybe another 40 or so plate appearances. Nick Decker has done pretty well. He's probably a guy that I'll look to promote to AA pretty soon. Romo has turned it around after a very slow start, which is good. He's still a little below average, but as I said, I didn't draft him necessarily for his offensive capabilities. I drafted him because it seems like he could be elite defensively. And then pitching-wise, how have people doing? Cody Greenhill has done well in limited time, as has Gosselin. Cody Carroll has done pretty well. So it seems like the pitching, no. I was going to say, it seems like the pitching at the lower levels has actually done pretty well, but these guys at the bottom kind of scare me. Yeah, I mean, it seems for the most part like we are kind of getting some positive development from the minor leagues, which is good to see. But anyway, that'll do it for this episode. I said I was going to get to the draft, and I clearly did not. But next episode, we'll get the draft. We'll get to the All-Star break. We'll maybe make some trades. I don't really know what trades I would really make because our lineup is kind of locked in as it is. I'm not going to try to get somebody to take Jeter down spot. I think he needs to play. Devers, obviously. Ozuna's pretty much locked into DH. Verdugo, he's there. Kirilloff is locked in. Benintendi's locked in. Cassius is now locked in. Vasquez is very good defensively. He's not going anywhere. Galvis is our captain. He's definitely not. Pitching-wise, it might make sense to try. I mean, even then, I don't think it makes sense to get a pitcher for the starting rotation. We could maybe try to shop around Chris Sale. Even then, though, I don't really know if I want to do that. His value's got to be super low. It's not great. Okay. I don't know what we're going to do, guys. I'm kind of at a standstill. This is a tough situation, definitely. I think, what were we, like 22 and 14 or something when we started this, and now we have somehow, or 19 and 12, I think I was. And now we're 28 and 35. I'm not too sure what I want to do. Base running, we've been pretty good. Let me see. Defensively, we've been okay. Would like to preferably be a little better. We haven't allowed a lot of walks, which is good, I suppose, at 165. We've allowed a lot of home runs. Yeah, I'm hoping that the new pitching coach kind of solves these issues. I don't really think I need to fire the hitting coach quite yet. I think that with the departure of Adrianza and adding Cassius to the lineup, I think that'll help things a little bit. If it doesn't, maybe then I consider it. But anyway, Thank you for watching this episode. Hopefully things go better in the next one, and I will see you then.